At my age, I'm 73 now, mornings have become a little quieter, a little slower. And honestly, I've grown to cherish that first hour of the day. The light coming through the window, the kettle warming on the stove, the stillness before the world rushes in. But a few years ago, I learned something that shook me. A man in my church group, Marvin, 76 strong, always early for service. He was found slumped in his kitchen one morning. He had a stroke, and the doctor said it likely happened within an hour of waking up. That hit me hard. You see, I always thought stroke was something sudden, something random. But it turns out the morning hours are the most dangerous time for people over 60. That's when your blood pressure spikes, your heart works harder, and your blood becomes just thick enough to turn a small problem into a life-changing one. And here's what's even more surprising. It's not just genetics, not just aging. Sometimes it's the smallest habits we repeat every morning that quietly push us closer to that edge, without pain, without warning, without knowing, like skipping water, or rushing out of bed too fast, or grabbing the wrong kind of breakfast. I used to think those things didn't matter. But now, after reading the science and seeing what happened to Marvin, I know they do. That's why I'm making this video. Because if you're over 60 like me, and you want to protect your brain, your heart, your independence, you deserve to know the 8 most common morning mistakes that may quietly increase your stroke risk. And more importantly, how to change them. Gently, simply, starting tomorrow morning. Let's begin. 1. Getting out of bed. Too quickly, the hidden danger of a rush morning. I remember the morning it happened to my friend Walter. He's 78 now, a retired mailman who never missed a day of work for 42 years. Strong legs, strong will. But that morning, he stood up too fast and hit the floor before he took a second step. No warning, no chest pain, just a wave of dizziness, a flash of black, and then, thud. The paramedics said it was a drop in blood pressure, but the ER doctor, he said something that stuck with me. After 60, standing up too fast can be the most dangerous thing you do all day. It sounds dramatic, but it's not. Here's what really happens inside your body. When you're lying down, your heart and brain are operating in a low-demand state. The blood flow is calm, pressure is steady, but the moment you sit up or stand up suddenly, gravity pulls blood down into your legs. And unless your blood vessels tighten fast enough to push it back up, your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. This is called orthostatic hypotension, and it's more than a fancy medical term. It's shock to the system, and it's incredibly common in seniors. But that's not all. Getting up too fast can also trigger irregular heartbeat in people with heart conditions, falls that lead to hip fractures or brain bleeds, and worst of all, in those with plaque buildup in the arteries, it can suddenly shift blood clots, potentially causing a stroke. And the worst part? Most seniors never think twice about it. We're so used to being tough, to pushing through, to jumping into our day like we did when we were 40. But after 60, speed becomes the enemy. So what should you do instead? Start slow. Here's my personal routine, recommended by my cardiologist and easy for anyone to follow. Before moving, take 3 deep breaths while lying in bed. Wiggle your fingers and toes to wake up your circulation. Gently turn to your side and rest for 10 to 15 seconds. Push yourself up to sit. Let your legs dangle. Wait at least 30 seconds, maybe longer, before standing up. If you feel any dizziness or fogginess, stay seated. Sip a bit of water if needed. Give your system time to adjust. And one more thing. Never skip breakfast or caffeine on an empty stomach right after getting up. It makes that blood pressure drop even worse. My advice? Don't let pride rush your morning, because it's not just about comfort. It's about protecting your brain, heart, and independence. So tomorrow morning, when the sun peeks through your blinds, don't jump, pause, breathe, and give your body the gentle start it deserves. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Usher 2. Skipping water in the first hour. The dehydration trap that can raise stroke. Risk my old neighbor Bill used to say, "I'm not thirsty in the morning, coffee does the job." He was 81, full of stories, sharp as a tack. But one morning, he didn't come out for his garden walk. Turned out he'd suffered a minor stroke in his sleep, and the doctor said something that surprised all of us. He was severely dehydrated. At first, I didn't connect the dots. But then I learned. The hours just after waking are the most dehydrated hours of your entire day. Think about it. You've gone 7, 8, sometimes 10 hours without a sip of water. Your body's been repairing, regulating temperature, flushing toxins, all without refueling. And yet many seniors skip water in the morning. Not on purpose, but out of habit, or because they don't feel thirsty. Here's the problem. As we age, our thirst response becomes weaker. So even when we need water, we don't crave it. That means your blood gets thicker, your circulation slows, and the chances of clots forming, especially in the brain, go up dramatically. A 2022 study from the Journal of Stroke found that mild dehydration increases stroke severity and recovery time in older adults. Another study found that staying hydrated can reduce silent brain infarcts, the kind of tiny symptomless strokes that add up over time. So what can we do? Here's my simple morning habit that made a huge difference. Keep a glass of water next to your bed. Not ice cold, just room temperature. As soon as I wake, I take a few gentle sips while still sitting on the bed. Before coffee, finish one full glass, about 8 ounces. It helps flush out waste, kickstarts circulation, and prepares your digestion. If you're taking morning medication, water also helps ensure proper absorption and reduces stomach upset. Add a squeeze of lemon or a slice of cucumber if plain water feels boring. This also helps replenish electrolytes gently. And no, coffee doesn't count. In fact, caffeine without water can pull more water out of your system, especially first thing in the morning. Why does this matter? Because dehydration doesn't just make you feel tired or sluggish. It affects your brain volume, blood viscosity, and vessel flexibility. It can literally change the way your blood flows through your body and how protected you are from a stroke. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for the remote or the coffee mug, reach for water. That simple act might be the strongest first step you take all day. 3. Eating heavy, processed breakfasts. A morning habit that burdens the brain and heart. Let me tell you about my buddy Marvin. We used to meet every Tuesday morning at the local diner, just two old-timers catching up. Marvin was 76, sharp dresser, always in a clean polo and polished shoes. And every week, he'd order the same thing: eggs, sausage, pancakes, and a side of hash browns. "I eat like a king in the morning," he'd say with a grin. "It keeps me going." But one day Marvin didn't show up. Turns out he had a mini stroke at home, just hours after breakfast. And what shocked me the most was what his cardiologist told his family. His morning meals were putting enormous stress on his vascular system. Here's the thing most folks don't realize. Breakfast isn't just the first meal. It's your body's reset button. And for seniors, it's the most sensitive moment for blood pressure, blood sugar, and blood thickness. Now imagine waking up and immediately flooding your system with refined carbs like pancakes, white toast, or sugary cereal. processed meats like bacon and sausage, and high-sodium sides like frozen hash browns or instant biscuits. What does that combo do? It spikes your blood sugar, causing a crash just hours later. It stiffens your arteries, thanks to saturated fats and preservatives. And worst of all, it increases inflammation, silently weakening the vessels that feed your brain and heart. A 2021 study published in Stroke found that older adults who regularly ate processed meats had a 38% higher risk of ischemic stroke compared to those who limited them. Why? Because the nitrates, salt, and oxidized fats in these foods damage the endothelial lining of your arteries, the very roads that carry blood to your brain. So what's the better option? I'm not saying skip breakfast. I'm saying make it smarter. Here's what works for me, and my doctor agrees. Checkmark swap sausage for a boiled egg or Greek yogurt, both high in clean protein. Replace pancakes with oatmeal. Add chia seeds or berries for fiber and brain-loving antioxidants. Use avocado on whole grain toast instead of butter. Healthy fats that reduce inflammation. And drink warm water or green tea instead of processed orange juice. These small shifts, they protect your arteries, stabilize your energy, and set the tone for a healthier, calmer day. The truth is, you don't need to eat like a king to live like one. What you need is awareness and a little courage to change old habits that no longer serve your aging body. So next time you're standing at the stove or flipping open the microwave door, ask yourself, is this feeding my future or just filling my plate? Because breakfast can be your best defense against stroke, or your first mistake of the day. Or 4. Skipping medication or taking it incorrectly, a hidden risk. Hiding in plain sight. There's a man in my neighborhood named Joe. He's 79, big smile, bigger heart, served in the Navy, loves tinkering in his garage, and still drives his pickup every Sunday to church. But one morning, Joe was late to our coffee group. When he finally showed up, he looked pale, shaken. I forgot to take my blood pressure pills last night, he said. And this morning I felt lightheaded. My arm went numb for a few seconds. Now thank God it passed. But I saw the fear in his eyes. And truth be told, this happens far more often than people admit. Medication mistakes are one of the most silent dangers for older adults. Not because we don't care, but because bottles pile up, instructions blur, and sometimes we just forget. According to the CDC, nearly 1 in 3 seniors don't take their prescriptions exactly as directed. And for medications like blood pressure pills, blood thinners, cholesterol medications, missing a dose, or doubling one by accident, can directly increase the risk of stroke within just 24 hours. Why? Because these medications don't just manage symptoms. They protect delicate blood vessels, regulate flow, reduce clot risk. And when they're skipped, it's like pulling the guardrails off a mountain road. Here's the part most people don't realize. Even one skipped dose can cause a rebound effect. Blood pressure can spike, the heart races, vessels constrict. And that sudden shift? That's when strokes strike. So what can you do? Use a weekly pill organizer. One glance tells you what you've taken and what you haven't. Set a daily reminder on your phone or clock. Better yet, link it with a habit. Take pills right after brushing your teeth or before your morning coffee. Keep a medication list in your wallet or phone. Include dosages, times, and any special instructions. And most importantly, don't adjust your meds on your own. Feeling better doesn't mean your condition is gone. It means your medication is working. If something feels off, dizziness, headache, dry mouth, call your doctor. Never skip without advice. Joe, he got lucky. After that scare, he started using a simple pill box and taped a sticky note on his fridge. Today's health starts with yesterday's habit. Sometimes it's the smallest routines that protect us from the biggest risks. So if you take medications, especially for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart rhythm, respect them like lifelines. Because in many ways, they are. Fourth 5. Rushing out the door without stretching or breathing, a dangerous jolt to your cardiovascular system. My old friend Glenn used to joke, "If I'm vertical and moving by 7 a.m., I call it a good day." He's 82 now, still independent, still sharp. But back when he was 76, he had a wake-up call that changed his mornings forever. That day, Glenn had overslept. He jumped out of bed, threw on his shoes, skipped breakfast, and rushed out the door to catch the senior shuttle for his doctor's appointment. 10 minutes later, at the bus stop, he collapsed. Not a full stroke, thank God, but a transient ischemic attack, what doctors call a mini-stroke. A warning shot. What caused it? His doctor said it was the sudden shift from sleep to stress, with no transition. Here's what most people don't realize. When we're asleep, our heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, and muscles stay still for hours. Then we wake up. And if we immediately jump up, move fast, and skip breathing deeply, our cardiovascular system doesn't have time to adjust. For seniors, this sudden transition can, cause blood pressure spikes, increase risk of blood clots in the legs, reduce oxygen flow to the brain and stress the heart, especially if it's already weakened. In fact, according to a 2019 study in the American Journal of Cardiology, stroke risk is highest within the first 3 hours after waking, especially in adults over 60 who go from bed to rush without easing in. So what should you do instead? Think of your morning like starting an old car in winter. You wouldn't slam the gas pedal. You'd warm it up first. Sit at the edge of your bed for a minute. Let your blood flow catch up. Do 3 to 5 gentle stretches. Roll your ankles, shrug your shoulders, reach up slowly. These movements stimulate circulation and reduce clot risk. Take 3 deep belly breaths. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale slowly. This helps oxygenate your brain and calm your nervous system. If you're on medications or fasting blood tests, drink a glass of water before moving too fast. Hydration helps prevent sudden drops in blood pressure. Glenn still takes the same shuttle, but now he gives himself 15 minutes every morning. No TV, no phone, just stretches, deep breathing, and sometimes a quiet prayer. He says it makes him feel like I'm arriving into the day instead of crashing into it. And that's the truth. Your body is wiser than you think. All it asks is a few moments of kindness when you rise, because how you start your morning can shape everything that follows. Metzern 6. Drinking only coffee, ignoring morning hydration. Every Tuesday, a few of us gather at the community center for morning chess. And without fail, my buddy Raymond shows up, holding his big thermos of coffee like it's a trophy. He's 75, still witty, still sharp. But one day, halfway through our game, his hand trembled while moving a piece. Then he sat back, rubbed his forehead, and said, "Must be the coffee. I skipped breakfast. Didn't drink water either." Now Raymond's not the only one. So many seniors rely on coffee to wake up, but forget the one thing your body is desperately asking for first: water. You see, during sleep, your body loses water through breathing and perspiration. By the time you wake up, you're already mildly dehydrated, even if you don't feel thirsty. Now imagine this. You wake up already low on fluids. Then pour in a strong cup of black coffee, a natural diuretic that makes you lose even more water. The result? Thicker blood, which flows more slowly, increased blood pressure as your body struggles to stay balanced, and a greater risk of clot formation, especially in the morning when stroke risk is already elevated. According to the National Institutes of Health, even mild dehydration can reduce blood flow to the brain, impair memory, and strain the cardiovascular system. all of which are dangerous for seniors with stroke risk. So what should you do? Here's a better routine. And it doesn't mean giving up coffee. Start with 8 to 12 ounces of water, ideally at room temperature or slightly warm. You can even add a slice of lemon or a pinch of salt if you like. Wait 15 to 20 minutes before your first cup of coffee. This gives your system time to rehydrate and stabilize blood flow. If you take medications in the morning, drink another small glass of water with them. It helps absorption and protects your stomach lining. Consider herbal tea or a smoothie with water-rich fruits, like berries or melon, if you want variety. Raymond listened. Now he brings 2 thermoses, one with coffee and one with lemon water. He says, "I feel sharper, steadier, and less jittery. Plus, I win more games." And you know what? He's right. Because the body is a river, not a machine. It doesn't need a jolt, it needs gentle flow. And every stroke of hydration is a gift you give your brain, your heart, and your future. 7. Not eating or skipping breakfast. Altogether, leaving your brain and blood vessels vulnerable. There's a man I play cards with every Friday. Walter, 81 years old, proud Marine veteran, tough as nails, but quiet. Doesn't talk much about health. One morning, he showed up late, looked pale, and his hands were trembling. When we asked what was wrong, he shrugged and said, "I skipped breakfast. Figured I didn't need it. I'm not a kid anymore." But that morning, Walter nearly fainted. Low blood sugar, his doctor later said, and a serious warning sign for stroke. Here's the thing most seniors don't realize. Skipping breakfast doesn't make your body stronger. It makes it more vulnerable. Why? Because after 8 to 10 hours without food, your body wakes up in a fasted state. Your blood sugar is low, your blood vessels are tight, and your brain needs fuel to function. If you add coffee and stress to that mix without nourishment, your body goes into a mild state of physiological stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises, blood pressure spikes, and your blood becomes thicker, especially if you're also dehydrated. This inflammatory response increases the risk of plaque rupture, clot formation, and blood vessel constriction. 3 of the main triggers behind ischemic strokes, which make up 87% of all strokes in seniors. According to a large study published in Circulation, seniors who regularly skipped breakfast had a 21% higher risk of stroke than those who ate something in the morning. What should breakfast look like? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be balanced and consistent. Protein, like eggs, Greek yogurt, or nut butter, to stabilize blood sugar. Healthy fats, like avocado or a spoon of chia seeds, for sustained energy. Fiber, from oats, whole grain toast, or berries, to support circulation hydration. Always pair food with water or herbal tea to improve digestion and blood flow. And here's a bonus. Seniors who eat even a light breakfast show better mental clarity, mood, and heart rhythm stability throughout the day. Walter changed his ways. Now he eats half a banana with peanut butter before his walks. Nothing fancy, just smart fuel. And he hasn't had a dizzy spell since. So if you're someone who says, "I don't feel hungry in the morning," ask yourself this. Is it really hunger you're waiting for? Or just a habit that's quietly putting you at risk? Because feeding your brain first thing might be the simplest stroke protection you ever choose. Number 8. Checking the news or emails. First thing. Triggering stress before your body is ready. My friend Samuel, 76, starts every morning the same way. He wakes up, grabs his phone before his feet hit the floor, and opens the news. "Just want to see what's going on in the world," he says. But lately I've noticed he's more irritable, more anxious. He skips his morning walk. Says he doesn't feel like it. One day I asked him, "Sam, do you feel better after reading the headlines?" He paused, then admitted, "No." Usually I feel worse, but I can't seem to stop. And that's the danger. You see, the moment you wake up, your body is in a delicate state. Your cortisol, the body's natural stress hormone, is already at its peak. Your blood pressure is just starting to rise. Your heart rate is adjusting. Your brain is transitioning from deep rest into focus. But when you expose yourself immediately to negative information, violent headlines, political outrage, economic worries, emails demanding answers, you hijack your nervous system before it's even had a chance to balance. What happens? Blood pressure surges higher than necessary. Heart rhythm becomes erratic, and your blood vessels, especially in the brain, constrict under stress. According to research published in the American Journal of Hypertension, early morning mental stress significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular events in seniors, including transient ischemic attacks, mini-strokes, and full-blown strokes. So what can you do instead? Create a buffer zone between waking and the world. Wait at least 30 minutes before checking the news or emails. Start with something gentle. Stretching, soft music, hydration, or prayer. Take a few deep breaths, or step outside for a moment of light. Remind yourself, you control the first input your brain receives each day. Even just a few quiet minutes of peace can reset your whole system, reducing inflammation, supporting circulation, and preparing your mind for the day ahead. As for Samuel, he started leaving his phone outside the bedroom. He now spends his first 10 minutes on the porch with his dog, listening to the birds. He says his mornings feel lighter, and his doctor told him last month his blood pressure finally dipped back to normal. Sometimes, the greatest risk isn't what you see. It's what you feed your mind before your heart has even had its first calm beat. If you've made it this far, I want to say something important. You're not here because you're careless. You're here because you care about your health, about your future, about staying here longer, stronger, and sharper for the people you love. And that starts not with some miracle cure, but with the smallest choices you make each morning. Whether it's skipping breakfast, forgetting to hydrate, or reaching for your phone before your heart has even had a moment to settle. These habits feel harmless, but over time, they chip away at your body's natural balance. And sometimes, they're the silent cracks that allow a stroke to slip through. But here's the hope. You can change your mornings. And by doing so, you may just change your life. Because prevention doesn't have to be complicated. It's just about noticing the whispers before they become alarms. So tomorrow, try one small thing differently. Drink a glass of water. Step outside and breathe. Eat something nourishing. Wait before diving into the noise. And most of all, listen to your body. It's wiser than you think. If you found this video helpful, I invite you to subscribe to Senior Health Tips. This channel is here for you, to offer not just facts, but compassion, clarity, and real support for every step of your journey after 60. Until next time, take care of your mornings, and your mornings will take care of you.